Are we ready? Hey, there we go. All right, hey YouTube, it's Jan Charles, and today we're trying something a little bit new, a little bit different. Ricky's here with me, and of course he's already giving me a hard time because I'm not doing this the way he says I need to be doing it. But we're going to start doing some of your cooking questions. We're going to try to do as many of them as we can, but since we're brand new to this live thing, we know that a lot of you won't know that we're doing this yet. So if you post a question under an individual video, I will try to answer it there, but I thought that doing this way would help me go a little bit more in depth on some of the answers that y'all are asking. And of course, because we weren't real planned, I've got Boudin with me, so pardon me if he gets in the picture a little bit. Okay, Ricky, input. Any more things that I need to cover? We're going to be trying to do this Mondays at noon, at least for the next little while. We're going to go with that, see how it goes, see how it works out, and we'll let you know. I'll post it on the dashboard of the main page. All right, so on the questions, pardon me, let's see. On the video that I posted on how to do soup beans, which is a southern soup beans, southern Appalachian, where you do a pinto bean. I talked in that video about how if you're working with dried beans, it really makes a big difference if you brine them ahead of time. And so I showed how to brine beans in that video. Let's see, Aubrey Cooper. Hey Aubrey, thank you for your question. She asked, can I brine northern beans? And the answer is absolutely yes. Any of the hard dried beans like pintos or black beans or navy beans, great northern beans I think is another one. All of those beans can be brined ahead of time, and when you brine a dried bean, you're really getting the seasonings inside the bean. It gets nice and creamy, wonderful texture. You end up with fewer of the beans split, and your end result just tastes a lot better. The brine, everything, the pot liquor, the juices, it all tastes good. So Aubrey, yes, absolutely, you can brine those. All right, let's see. I'm going to try to get this right. This is a beautiful name, I think, if I don't butcher it. Chillouette asked on turkey gravy. So I've had a video up for a couple of years on how to make turkey gravy. And Chillouette asked about the heat level on simmering the gravy until it gets to the right consistency. She asked, is it a 5 or 6? Now, this leads me to a couple of things. A lot of folks are watching the videos and they're over in the United Kingdom. And from what I understand, and I may get this wrong, but from what I understand, there is a standardized system of measurement for the heat output on gas ranges. And you can write a recipe and say, put your cooker on a number 4, and everybody in the whole country knows what you're talking about. It sounded from the way she asked this that she may be in the UK. I don't know for sure. But in the United States, we just go low, medium, high, and that's what we have to go with. Now, you want your turkey gravy on about a medium to a medium low. And there are a couple of things that we're going to talk about on how to make this really work no matter what you got going on. Anytime you're making a sauce or a gravy, you have 3 main components. So you're going to have a little bit of fat, you're going to have a thickening agent such as flour or cornstarch or arrowroot, and you're going to have liquid. Now, for all of those thickening agents, you add them to the fat, you add the liquid, you bring it up to a boil and cut it down to a simmer. None of the thickening agents will reach their full thickening power until it has come to a boil. But after that, you don't want to boil it super hard, right? You may want to thicken it a little bit further by reducing it a bit. And for that, you want a nice, low, gentle simmer. That's all you got to have, okay? Now, that method also works if you're making the classic mother sauces. So if you go to make a bechamel, you're going to have some fat, you're going to have some flour, and you're going to have the milk or the half and half or cream or whatever you choose to use. All of those work with the same method. You bring it up to a full boil, immediately down to a simmer, and that's where you keep it. Now, if it's a 5 or 6 on your cooker, or if it's just medium low on a regular old stove, that's the way you know that you're going to do it right. Okay, higher than that, and you boil it, and you might burn it, you might scorch it, and sometimes, depending on the thickener you use, you may break the thickening power of your thickener to begin with. Cornstarch can break if you cook it too hard. Let's see. Next question. Neonia Hazelwood, oh, I love that name too, asked on how to brown ground beef. She wanted to know if you open a package of ground beef, if you need to drain the accumulated juices and liquids out of it. Um, some of it is often blood, and you can. You don't have to. Now, if you do drain the juices off of it before you start cooking it, you're going to get better browning. Less liquid in the pan means it's not going to steam as it cooks, so you'll have a better caramelization. So do you need to? No. No, I often just throw it right in the pan. But if there's a lot, you probably want to get rid of it. It'll probably work better if you do. All right. Wolverine tea on lemon zest. I'm really glad you didn't put soap in whatever it was you were making. Yes, lemon zest is a thing you cook with. It's not just a soap. So yes, you're right. On making cornbread, Deborah Brown commented that even if she has the skillet really well preheated, and this is a cast iron skillet, even if she has a skillet well preheated, and she uses something to prevent it from sticking. So like in the old-fashioned recipe that I posted, I talk about putting a little bit of melted bacon fat in the bottom of the skillet. And that way when you turn your cast iron skillet over after it's baked, you'll have a nice crispy crust on the outside. And she mentioned that hers often sticks, even though she preheats it and she puts a little bit of fat in the bottom of the skillet. Well, if she's using a cast iron skillet, Ricky's taking my notes. If she's using a cast iron skillet, I would say that the seasoning, Deborah, on your skillet has broken and you need to re-season. It's really not a very difficult thing to do. To season a cast iron skillet, scrub it really, really well. Make sure it's super clean. Normally, you don't use soap or any kind of scouring pad or scouring agent on a cast iron skillet. In this case, if you're going to re-season it, it's okay. Go ahead, because you want it as clean as possible. So scrub it down really well and make sure it's super dry. Preheat your oven to 325 degrees, and then wipe all over the inside of your skillet. Give it a thin layer of vegetable oil or shortening. The way my grandmother taught me to do it was simply to fry a pound of bacon in the skillet and then proceed. But vegetable oil shortening is what most of the major manufacturers tell you to use at this point. Give it about an hour in a 325 degree skillet or oven. Wipe it out real well, and it should be good to go. If it's still sticking, repeat the process a couple of times. Now, somewhere, and I went back, I tried to find where I had read this. Somewhere I read at one point that animal fats, such as if you do use bacon grease, don't give as hard a nonstick surface as vegetable oils. So in that case, you would want to use something like a shortening or a vegetable oil to do the seasoning. Couldn't find the science on that, so I don't know how to proceed there, but super easy. Either way you go, just fat on the inside of the skillet. Proceed. You should be good to go. Ricky, are you writing me notes? Yes, he's writing me notes. He's not going to apparently tell you. Want to give me the note? I will do so. A separate video saying that I'll be answering questions on Monday so people know when to look. Yes, Ricky was fussing at me because I didn't give him any notice. I said, let's just go ahead and jump in and do the first one. Mondays at noon. Noon Eastern time is when we're going to be doing this. All right, this is wonderful. I had to give a shout out to this guy, not only because of the name, his username, but also because of what he does. Because again, we were talking about biscuits and gravy. International Shoestring Submarine Band made a comment on the biscuits and gravy video about doing the same thing I do, where you have to add some fat because modern sausage is so lean. He mixes a little bacon fat with the butter when he makes his, and I just say, you know, that's awesome. That's rockstar. Hats off to you on that idea. I love it. All right. Anything else? Okay. We're going to be trying to do these question and answer videos Mondays at noon, at least for now. And if we've gotten this one all wrong, you know, bear with us a little bit. This is our first live stream, so we're going to be experimenting with how to make that work real well. And if you have questions for me, if you want to shoot them to me ahead of time, I think you can post them just at the bottom of this video, and I should be able to get them. I'll continue to answer questions on the regular video comments pages, so it's easy to find the answers to that particular recipe or method. But I'll also keep shooting these videos to see if I can't go a little more in depth to why particular things work the way they do. Alright, so if you're in East Tennessee, I'm going to be on WGHL on Wednesday. We're going live at, what time are we going? We're going at 10 o'clock. That's Channel 11. And then I'm going every second Thursday of the month. I'm on WKPT in Kingsport, Tennessee. That is, I have to look up the channel. That's awful, but we go live at 9 o'clock, and that's every second Tuesday or second Thursday of the month. Alright, and in the meantime, we're going to be continuing to cook and shoot here in my kitchen so that I can show every single one of you all that you can cook. Alright, if this has been helpful, please click like and subscribe, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And come with me again. Here. The dog's in the way again. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We got a Patreon page, and you can hook up with us at all of those locations. And in the meantime, shoot me questions if you got them. Thanks. Alright, I don't think that was too bad. I gotta figure out how to quit. How do I quit? Quit. 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 How do you quit? Close it?